Hello everyone, Godre here, and this is my money brief. Yep. So on today's money brief, I want to talk about GT Bank. Yes. Of course, I I got messages from a lot of folks trying to figure out what's going on. So why am I talking about GT Bank today? So GT Bank released their second quarter numbers, yesterday, and it was pretty much impressive. They became the first bank in Nigerian history that would post, wait for it, a pre-tax profit, that's before taxes, of 1 trillion naira. It's never been done before by any bank in Nigeria, and GT Bank became the first bank to post a 1 trillion naira pre-tax profit in 6 months. So it's not like that's their 1 year profit. So they've made 1 trillion without taxes, though. I mean, we haven't removed taxes yet. At Nairametrics, we like to use pre-tax profit when it's interim, when it's like 6 months. At the full year, we can use the full profit taxes because we're not really clear what it is yet. So pre-tax profit 1 trillion for GTB or GTCO as they're called. And I think that headline got a lot of people wondering, what the hell? Like, how can a bank make that much money, in a year, in 6 months? Not even a year, 6 months. I mean, that's basically what some companies are valued at. What's even interesting is that I think GT Bank's pre-tax profit is even more than its valuation, like what the company is valued at, which is just incredible, really. But that is the nature of things. So people were wondering, how is it possible for GT Bank to hit 1 trillion? And I think I should even use this opportunity to state that I don't think GTB or GTCO is going to be the only financial institution that will hit 1 trillion this year. I suspect Zenith is likely going to hit 1 trillion because they did roughly 800 or so in their pre-tax. I think that UBA might also hit those numbers as well. I suspect, even if they don't, they might get close to it. FBNH, as owners of First Bank, maybe not. Maybe next year. Access as well, maybe next year. But I'm pretty sure of Zenith and GT, and I think UBA might just maybe be close to that number, but might not hit it. So, I mean, I'm trying to look at that, like GT, UBA's last year did about, in terms of profit after tax, 600. So maybe UBA, but pretty sure GT Zenith would likely hit that 1 trillion mark this year, those two banks. GT already did it, and I don't think there's anything that will stop them from maintaining that figure by the end of the year. So how did Guarantee Trust Bank hit 1 trillion? I think that's the question on a lot of people's mind, but let's just dig into the numbers. So very, very, very easy. So banks make money from, one, interest income. That's money that they lent out, money that they earn through interest on loans, or maybe investment in things like treasury bills or fixed income securities. Banks also make money from what you call commission and fees. So commission on transactions, commission on loans, commission on even some of the banking activities that you do, even their e-business income, like when you make transfers and all that. They also make money on general fees for deals. So that's a huge chunk of how banks make money. And then a third part, which is very significant these days, is what you call trading income. So banks also do a lot of trades, whether it's forex swaps or placements or derivatives. They make a lot of money from that as well, and those are basically forex plays. And so that's really the three main ways that banks make money, especially in Nigeria. And so in terms of net interest income, GT Bank, just for 3 months alone, they did 264 billion in 3 months. And that took their net interest income, which was about 177% higher than the same period last year. That's Q2 versus Q2 last year. But if you sum up everything, GT Bank was hitting over 400 billion in terms of net interest income. I think it was about 491 billion or thereabout. Now, if you compare that to the whole of 2023, they did 436 billion. So you can imagine how humongous that number is. Then, even if you look at their trading income as well, they also, beat estimates or expectations in terms of their return. So let me try and get the specific figure here. So I'm not just speculating. I have my system right in front of me here. All right. So in terms of trading income, GT Bank was breaking in about 630 billion, up from 370 billion same period last year, and that's 6 months. Trading income. Remember what I told you, how they make money. Of course, they also make money from commission and fees. And in commission and fees, they made 101 billion net in 6 months compared to 51 billion the year before. So let me take that again. So in terms of net interest income, I remember I told you to make money from net interest income. They did 491 billion. And then in terms of commission and fees, they did 101 billion. And then in terms of trading income, they did that's trading income and maybe other incomes included. They did about 630 billion, and there's also one small portion of income they also made about 30 billion or so. So let's just call that 660 billion. Now, and that generally is the pool of revenue that they got. And what was their expenses? Apart from, I already told you net interest income, net commission, so I've already backed out expenses there. But in terms of general expenses, there was another 132 billion in other operating expenses. On their personnel cost, that is staff cost, 41.5 billion compared to 20 billion the year before. So it appears GT Bank may have increased staff salaries and also hired some new staff or a lot more staff. Yeah, they did hire more staff. So they did spend on personal expenses as well. And of course, the depreciation and amortization. So that makes up their general expenses. And that's how they ended up with 1 trillion in profit. So the major driver was interest on loans and then the trading income. Now, so those interest and loans, I dug deep and I realized that a huge portion of that came from interest to customers, which was over 200 billion. But most significantly was money that they made from investments in treasury bills. That was a significant contributor to their interest income. And so they made close to 300 billion on that alone. And so that's why you saw them net interest 495 billion from there. So if you're wondering how did they make that money, that's it. So and it's possible for them to earn more from lending because let's remember interest rates are higher now than before. That's one. And then some of their loans are also foreign currency loans as well. So interest rates were also high for foreign currency. And of course, by the time they convert that income, that is also would provide some kind of value for them naira-wise. So that's why their interest income was that good. If you now also dig down to the commission of fees, there were a lot of deals that they did. They also had major banking transactions that increased the size of businesses that they did, and so that's why the commission and fees went up. In fact, I did notice that GT Bank's deposit did rise year on year, which was pretty interesting. So if you look at their total deposit, it rose 62% to 10.2 trillion, and even their loans and advances also increased in terms of value by about 34%. So maybe that's all FX related, but business basically like increased. So their balance sheet increased. So there were a lot of deals that they did on transaction flow. So that may have contributed to the commission and fees that you're seeing. Again, this is just my own analysis. Typically, banks come out and break down what really happened, and that will usually happen in their investor call, which they are yet to do yet. So, but this is just my own, cursory analysis of what I see from the bank. And so pretty interesting numbers here. And then, of course, if you now look at their trading income, which everybody likes to pay attention, to, that was also largely Forex. So mostly from deals that are Forex related, either, like I mentioned earlier, swaps or foreign currency derivatives or pure FX related deals. And that contributed significant amount of that 1 trillion profit that you're seeing. Now, GT also said that a lot of those profits were not necessarily realized yet. Now, if you're wondering what we mean by they're not realized yet, I'd explained that in one of my other money briefs. Those profits are still on paper, but you have to capture it, as part of how accounting works for the bank. In fact, from what we saw, I think your unrealized gains alone was about 630 billion. So inside that 1 trillion you're seeing, about 630 billion was unrealized. And so maybe that might not be taxed yet. I mean, we all remember the windfall tax story and all that, and about tax banks, 50 or 70% of their taxes, of the gains they made from FX. But GT is saying inside that money, most of it is unrealized gains, so maybe that won't be taxed. But nevertheless, 1 trillion is a huge milestone for that bank. I think those gains are going to be realized eventually, so you might as well just accept it that it's unrealized. Huge milestone. Never before have we seen a Nigerian bank hit 1 trillion. I mean, if you adjust it for dollars, they probably may have done it before, because 1 trillion these days is maybe $800 million or thereabout. But it's still an amazing number in 6 months. And like I said, it's very likely that Zenith is going to join GT as well. And I suspect the likes of UBA and FBNH will join maybe sometime next year if they sustain this sort of growth trajectory. But in the meanwhile, these are the banks that have hit those numbers. So that's it. Again, like I said, despite the sort of profits, GT is still trading, I think, cheap, below valuation. It's still at 44, 45 naira or thereabout. I mean, price to earnings ratio is pretty cheap. I think it is. But I mean, it's banking stocks are very volatile. That is cheap doesn't mean that there's an opportunity yet or for you to grow. But I mean, if you're some type of long-term player or somebody who believes maybe things might change in a couple of years or in fact, what am I saying? A couple of years is too far. Maybe like next year might be a good bet. But solid stock. They also declared 1 naira dividend. Yeah, I think they're paying 1 naira dividend to their shareholders. So if you have 10,000 units or 100,000 units of GT, then you're going to get 1 naira times that amount. So that's 100k. Maybe it might not be much, but I mean, the 100,000 unit translates about 4.5 million if you want to buy that stock today. So 100,000 naira in a month, still not a bad deal. So that's my breakdown of GT, and that's my money brief for today. So I hope I've been able to explain that. If you got more questions, you can always ask in the comment section, and that's it. So do have a profitable week ahead. Peace. Bye.